Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi there, everyone. We're playing Masks. Welcome back to Masks: A New Generation on Charisma 2 AC. What did we decide this? What did we decide this was called? It's been a little while since we played. This is Halcyon
Halcyon
City
City
Defenders.
Defenders, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Like I think the official title in like on YouTube has always just been Masks. Like it's always
Yeah.
just been like the game system. Maybe
Rename
we'll-
it.
Yeah, maybe we'll start doing that. Maybe like we'll confuse everyone and have the playlist called Masks and then change the titles of the episodes. Well, in
Can't
any
confuse
case,
them now. Now you said it.
We should know actually if you want to be a real ass towards our viewers, change every episode to the name we come up with at the end of the episode.
oh god, that would actually be both really good and really bad. It would be
Yeah.
it would be best if I could somehow like scramble everything. Like if I could scramble the upload order. And it would be this thing where like we would have like 2 or 5 dedicated viewers who would try and piece it together. And be
Yes.
like, how did this actually work out? And for everyone
But
else, it
no,
would
but
be
you
like
would have to-
Lost
you'd have
and
to call it-
Memento.
You'd have to call it issue 1. Blah, 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 blah. Issue 2. Blah, 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 blah. You know, like that.
Yes, that
No,
would
then
be
you can
easy.
figure it out.
Yes, I know.
It's true. If it's not devoid of context, what's the point? So hi everyone.
Welcome
So
back.
just in case that you've just stumbled upon this episode, this is an actual play of an RPG called Masks, in which we play teenage superheroes taking on the troubles of teenage life and the super-powered, wonky, hilarious hijinks of the superhero life, and as you grow into your superhero powers and so on. That's the jam of this game. Now, if you're just finding us here and now at random, there is an entire series moving up to this point that you can go back and watch. And that will lead you to a satisfying understanding of where we are and why this is about to happen, that you're about to experience. And now I have the good honor and pleasure of being your game master and host. I'm called Daniel. Hello. And with me tonight is everyone else who will be playing the role of the player characters in this show.
Hello.
We have Joan playing Diamond.
Yes, that's me.
We have Brain playing Vigil.
It's a me.
We have Thalmet playing Nightshade.
Hello.
And we have AJ playing Starlight.
Hi.
And we have Rasmus playing White Sparrow.
I'm surprised you didn't get it wrong this time with Starlight and Sparrow.
I know, right? It's so weird.
He's been studying. He's been doing his homework. He's cheating.
Why do you think we had such a large break?
I've been printing out all my notes and hanging them like in wrapping paper, and I'm just waxing on and waxing off, and I just keep doing that until I can read what it says, and I'll be fine. It's
Wax
Basically
on.
done like Sherlock Holmes.
of
A
course.
big
yeah.
spider web.
Yes, like I will make like the Sherlock series. I will have like a hyper overproduced mind palace scene of like, I'm putting everything together because I'm hyper intelligent, and nothing will have any payoff in 5 seasons because Stephen Moffat is a fucking hack, and this show is too expensive and too wonky for what it's doing, and is misusing a beloved English fiction character. And this ramble has gone off the rails, and let's return to Masks.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Finally, somebody who agrees with me that show's shit.
Yes, it's
Which one?
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
It's an overproduced mess.
Yes, it is.
So, game time. So we've introduced everyone, but let's have just like a little bit more of a look at these characters that we've been talking about, because who even is Diamond, Vigil, Nightshade, Starlight, and White Sparrow? We'll have the players answer that. So, Joan, could you give us like a brief presentation of the character you're playing?
Yes, of course. Diamond is our bull, which is the physical powerhouse in this system. She is, in fact, the only non-teenager in the group. She has the mindset of a teenager. In reality, she's probably only a couple of years old, and that's on account of her actually being a robot. But as I said, she is the character type known as the bull, and her stats at the moment I have a freak of -2 because all the others have done such a sterling job of making her believe that she's in fact a decent, almost human being. There is a danger of 3 that is in fact locked. This is, she's perfectly aware of just how much damage she can do. She's got a savior of 1, a superior of 2, and a mundane of 1. And she has, she's got hold over everyone, but that's not a big issue. At the moment, she's actually down to only 1 condition at long last. She spent most of last time being a neurotic mess, to put it mildly, but she's down to 1, and that's insecure. She's got the special move called Bull's Heart, which means that she's got a love and a rival. Her love relationship is to Starlight, who is her best friend. It's not a romantic kind of love, at least not as far as Diamond is seeing it. I'm starting to wonder about Starlight, but for Diamond it's a friendship. Her rival is Palla, that is Finn's or Vigil's mom, whom she detests with a furious passion as being just about the second worst parent she's ever seen, quite apart from the creature that created her. She's got an enabler relationship with her, which means, as far as I recall, it means that I can make her do really stupid things by provoking her.
That's the jam of like where you exist in your love-hate relationship, right? Like
yes,
you're a person who provokes action.
Yes.
Cool, awesome, thank you.
Yes.
Let's have Brain introduce us to Vigil.
Hello. Again. So Finn is a character of a Legacy playbook. He has a lot of interactions with his Legacy and his family or bloodline or order. That's his jam, and he's supposed to be responsible. He is by far not. Well,
he's gotten better.
Slightly. Marginally. He got sassier over time.
If he's gotten sassier over time, does that mean we're finally going to get the gay romance? Anyway, sorry, don't let me interrupt anymore.
Yeah. Other than that, he still holds the crown as the most experienced, quote unquote, in mechanic member of the team, because he fails the most.
That's like a very succinct way of putting it. It's like, yes, you've advanced far, young one.
Okay, and he as of now has no conditions to his name, and his stat line is a freak at -2, danger at -1, savior at 2 locked, superior at 3, mundane at 3 locked. So he's nice. he's like about as much secure as he's going to get without changing class.
He considers himself very very empathic and a bit of a martyr.
Yeah. He grew into it.
Cool. Into it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. Okay, let's hear it for Nightshade.
Nightshade is the team's Janus, so it means he gets to juggle superhero life and real life. My labels right now are Freak -2, Danger of 1, Savior at 3, Locked, Superior 3, and Mundane. I have the Angry condition currently, and I do have a responsibilities to the ordinary life.
Yeah, what are your responsibilities?
which are I have a job as a barista, my schoolwork, and my best friend, Daniel. I also unlocked drives from the what other playbook was that from? Beacon. That's it, the Beacon. So my current drives are make out with a teammate, tell someone your true feelings for them, kiss someone dangerous, and lead the team successfully in battle.
Very nice. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's have it for Starlight. AJ, will you give us an idea of Starlight's character?
I has to remember that I was supposed to talk,
Ah, of course.
but I has forgotten. This is so long ago that I barely remember anything.
It's been a little while since you were able to join us. Also, it doesn't help that we've had such a distended time period where we didn't play. But yeah,
I couldn't even join you for the last time you played. Oh shit! I can see she has 5 conditions. Oh my god.
It's beautiful.
Well, let's hear it.
Oh well, she's both afraid, angry, guilty, insecure, and hopeless, and I don't remember why.
These I
Wow.
feel like these happened as a side effect of the events leading up to the fight with Morrigan Le Fay, and then you got like 1 or 2 conditions in the fight and was forced to leave it. I think that's where that was.
I weren't in the fight.
That's true. Like some.
I weren't there for the fight.
You
teleported.
were about to enter the fight, and then yeah, your powers like conked out, and you popped out of there. Your phenomenal cosmic powers once more playing a trick on you, being a beastly force to try and tame.
Anyway, she has a freak of 1, a danger of 2, and the rest are at 0.
All right, so you're like fairly well rounded in most cases.
Lol. She has influence over Nightshade, Vigil, and Diamond.
Yeah, very good. We need to see about getting influence over White Sparrow then. Speaking of White Sparrow.
Yeah.
White Sparrow, what's up with you?
Well, White Sparrow is of the Doomed playbook. She is the physical embodiment of a dying girl's wish to be a superhero. She has a freak of 2, a danger of -2, a savior of 3, a superior of 1, and a mundane of 0. She's currently angry and guilty. And she has quite a lot of influence, I can see. Over Nightshade, Vigil, our substitute teacher, Starlight, Diamond, and Morrigan. Oh yeah, I got that.
Mm-hmm. She's also
Before I got turned into a bird.
Yeah, I was about to say, of all the many things she is, she's also currently a bird.
Of course she's a bird. What you expect?
No, not that one. No, you can't justify this with an accent.
What kind of bird was she again?
I think it was something as on the nose as a raven.
Nah, of course it was.
In addition to these like lovely details of White Sparrow, you also have the as a doomed character the curious privilege of being tied to a nemesis who will come and hound you at some point in your life, and there are things that you can do that will propel this to happen faster. What
Yes.
brings your doom closer?
Well, so speaking of on the nose, my nemesis is Black Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And where did I put that down? What brings her closer, or my doom closer, is actively discussing my doom with anyone which has been difficult. And then harming innocents as well. And I'm looking to see if I can find any more of them, but long time ago, making sense of my notes.
Yes, of course. So last time when we played, I had written everyone a love letter, a little piece of text that's like directed at the character, reminding us where we were when last we saw you, and asking like a question that I'm curious about personally, to refocus the lens a bit on something that I feel is relevant to your character and that I would like to draw attention to. That is not to say that, and I said this to the others last time, it's not to say that you need to focus on that. I'm just letting you know, like, that there is a thing there that I felt like maybe was worth paying attention to. And I read that to everyone last time, and so I will read the little love letter to Starlight and White Sparrow now.
Yes, because we were not there last time.
Indeed. I will also reread the part that was directed at the Defenders as a whole, just for the benefit of you, AJ, and you, Rasmus. This will be a repeat for those of us tuning in from last time, but it's fine. It's a brief thing. So it goes like this. Dear Defenders, when last we left you, you had just defeated Morrigan Le Fay by teleporting her far away using her own magic. You stood up to one of Halcyon's most powerful witches and prevented her from abducting White Sparrow. A damn fine job for any group of superheroes, no less for a group of teens. With that said, it was far from a perfect victory. To say it came down to the wire would be an understatement. White Sparrow, you've been turned into a raven by Morrigan's Hedgecraft. She called you the Catalyst and said something about attacking Graves Industries. What's gonna happen if you don't find a way to warn everyone? You've been a shapeshifter all your life. How does it feel to be trapped in a single form? Something for you to consider whether or not you want to play around with for your character. Yes. Starlight. Where art thou, Starlight? You've been doing some really good work lately. You've been there for your friends, always putting them first. But now they need you again. And your power slipped again, leaving you unable to help your friends. Where in the world did you end up? I know it isn't always easy possessing so much power. Do you think you will ever feel safe wielding it? Again, little consideration there. And with that, I should like to jump us into the fray, unless someone has something they want to bring up before we start playing. No? Okay, then let's do it. So to draw attention to the question of Starlight and where is Starlight, I feel like the first thing we address in this issue is the question of where did Starlight go? Because that was left entirely like unaddressed in the last issue. We only know she vanished, but never learned where she went. So Starlight, when we open our issue today, we seem to have gone back in time. We are looking once more at the fight between the Defenders and Morrigan Le Fay in the junkyard, and we see like it's painted from like a different perspective, but it's still recognizable as being the same fight. And we see Morrigan like speaking in like weird rune script, and we see you like cosmic energy crackling around your fingers, making ready to participate and like to help your friends. And then suddenly your power surges out of control, and in this like space of energy beams being tossed around and weird spells going off and whatnot, your powers like crash together as waves upon rocks, and in the impact you find yourself suddenly whisked away to a different place, and we see you like vanish from this space. And where you appear, you end up in a space where we see you just like pop into existence, and you are surrounded on all sides by like a vast, empty seeming like black silhouette based version of seemingly of Halcyon City. The towering buildings, like with their preening spires and the wide avenues, give an idea of Halcyon, but everything is painted in these like very muted, very sickly colors, and the night sky, or the sky above, has this like deep violet tinge. Everything seems kind of like off and too dark. You suddenly find yourself whisked into existence there.
Daniel, this demands something.
What does it demand?
Do. Imagine a place between sight and sound. You have entered the Twilight Zone.
Please feel free to imagine that. I probably won't be editing a Twilight Zone like opening in here, because I have no clue if
It
YouTube
would be fitting if you did.
It would, but like, you know, like with YouTube being as it is, I would have no like idea. If
No,
that
I
meant,
know.
oh, this is perfectly fine, or like suddenly like I would have YouTube bots crawling up my ass, like just be like,
You?
you
That
can't do this."
sounds unsanitary. Let's not have Let's not have that happen to you.
Thank you. So Starlight, you find yourself like whisked into this space, as if you have like not really moved that much at all. You're surrounded by skyscrapers and like buildings. It feels the same as it has always done, and yet everything is distinctly darker, more Plutonian. There is a sense of emptiness and a sense of ominous, of the ominous to the place. What do you do?
How the fuck should I know?
That's a good question. How do you imagine Starlight would react to suddenly finding herself here, wherever here is?
No clue, seriously.
Okay.
Well, I think the first thing would be, fuck, of course something weird would happen.
Yes, like the bitter resentment of that, like the familiar sensation of your powers conking out and then being like, oh, damn it. Something
Wow,
uninvited has
this is
occurred.
another fine mess you've gotten into.
Probably followed swiftly by at least the world didn't implode. Of what I know of.
Yeah. And as you say that, like you look up and you see like this opaque violet sky, and you can't like see the night, you can't see the stars, you can't see the moon, definitely can't see the sun. And yeah, like maybe something has finally gone so wrong that you cannot undo it.
Well, that's just perfect.
So, tell me about like what Starlight like feels and ostensibly ends up doing in this situation. What does she believe to have happened?
I am not sure she even knows.
Alright.
And I'm looking through her character sheet in hopes of finding out what the fuck I left her with.
A bunch of bad feelings.
Which is certainly not going to help in this situation.
Well, it was because everything conked out that you ended up here.
It seems that way. Like you only knows like your
I'm asking
powers.
you as a mechanical thingy.
So yeah, like so mechanically speaking, you did not roll. You did not roll to like have your powers go out of control. I believe, if I'm like remembering back now, I believe what happened was that you had to like leave on short notice, and so I made the executive call to say we remove Starlight from the situation by saying your powers like surge and then you're gone. So
Don't even remember what happened last time I were with it.
you were
Or in here.
So that's what we just described before, right? You were like about to join your team in fighting Morgan Le Fay, the witch, and then as you were like calling upon your powers, they seemed like to you what Starlight felt was like you felt the familiar sensation of like the dam breaking, right, of your powers rushing out of control, of juggling stars and planets, and then like suddenly have the whole thing spin out of control and crash to the ground. And in that moment of losing control of your powers, everything just goes completely black, and then like it's just all black and white flashes. And then once you come to and you regain your senses, you're picking yourself off the ground in ostensibly like a dark and desolate like and abandoned metropolis. A metropolis meaning big city, not meaning that you've been transported to DC.
Oh, then I'm probably gonna walk around in it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some clues.
Yeah, so you like pick yourself up and start like walking around, and what strikes you as you're like moving through the city is that everything seems abandoned. There is no like sense of activity. The whole place is like a slew of like abandoned cars, like entire streets of like just cram-packed with like what would appear to be normal traffic. But like all the vehicles are empty. Most of them are like just like the doors have like been left open, seemingly abandoned in a hurry. There are like open storefronts. Some of them have like the doors wide open. Some of them are in ruin. There is no one in any of those buildings. And I think like as you...
Does it look like it's been abandoned for a long time, or as if it happened just now?
It has like the ghost town feeling of like being in some place between it was abandoned an indeterminable amount of time ago, and definitely not long enough for like Mother Earth to consume the place. Like there aren't like crawling vines, there aren't like roving animals. There is.
Are there a lot of dust everywhere?
No, everything just like so. The thing has like this kind of like haunting breeze sweeping through it. It's like making hooing sounds off of the buildings and empty streets. So everything is just like kind of like austere and abandoned.
Huh. Weird.
You realize after like walking for a short while, like it doesn't take you long to like point out and recognize like places that you've been, and realize that you're in Halcyon. Like you recognize like an intersection. You're like, oh, this is Allendale's like intersection, and over there is the Starbucks, and over there is the whatever clothing store. And yeah, you come to realize that this is definitely your town, and everything's gone.
Spooky.
What do you do?
Well, wander about. For the first time in very, very long time, there's no one in the streets, making a stroll a lot easier.
It's true. I think you like walk around for a time, like feeling nothing but like the emptiness of the place. We don't see exactly how long, but there's like a series of panels just devoted to you like walking through the abandoned space.
I'm thinking, I'm assuming, of course, I still have all the fucking conditions.
You do.
Thought so. Then there is no way she's even gonna try to get out of there.
You're just like feeling caught and accepting of that fact.
I think she has come to the last step, acceptance.
Of course. So, yeah, I think we see just like a bunch of like maybe like somber feeling images then.
Maybe a little, what's it called? Morbid thought of maybe this is best for the world anyway.
Yeah, whatever has happened to it. And I think like as you do that, we have like a panel of you like turning a corner, and in the shot there is like a definite light source like spilling on your face, and you like notice this light often like the side, and it's like visibly like a different thing in the landscape because everything just has this like matte filter on it. But then there's this like luminescence, and you turn and you look, and you see a building that's not, like, you don't recognize from Halcyon City. It's not typically a building that's here. It has this, like, sloping, it's like this sloping, like, spire, like, starting out wide and then, like, becoming, like, a needle point. That is, like, lit with like, outside lights pointing out. Floodlights, it seems. It's, like, the only thing that really stands out here.
Okay.
What do you do?
She keeps wondering.
Yeah. So while, like, what do you wonder about? Like, I know that it's about, like, if the world is
wandering, as in wander over yonder.
Do you just, like, wander into the dour bleakness, or do you head towards the light, the place that seemingly someone's probably living?
I don't think she's even noticing that.
Oh no, you probably definitely are. Like, because it's like, imagine walking around in, like, blackness, and then suddenly there's, like, a light. It's not a thing that does not go noticed.
So basically, it's a Christmas tree in the middle of a dark night.
Yes. A little bit delayed on that one, Joan, but I appreciate it.
Well, we didn't get to play right before Christmas anyway, so give us our Christmas special, goddammit.
Delayed Christmas special, suddenly. So you look up and there's, like, a sleigh flying overhead, and a Martian leans out and shouts, and then fire lasers at you. What do you do?
Doesn't it go moo 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 moo?
No, it doesn't. But I, again, much appreciated. The South Park references.
I don't get it.
But yeah, so let me know, like, what you do.
I'm tempted to say she ignores the footlight because it's pretty obvious that you want her to go there.
Yup. But to me, you can do whatever. It says just as much to me that you're electing not to go there than it does that you're going there.
She'll probably be going there.
All right. So you approach the thing, and as you, like, get closer, you see you become able to see the contours of the building more clearly than you were when it was just, like, a bunch of lights blinding you. The closer you get, the less it forms, like, a cohesive beam of light and becomes, like, several poking lights. It looks like a fortress, plain and simply. Like, it looks like some kind of, like, future militaristic complex. Like, lots of iron surfaces, lots of, like, cannons poking outwards. And it has this, like, kind of sealed sense to it. Like, it's, like, definitely, like, locked down, as if trying to keep the city out.
Okay. The floodlight is trying to keep the city out.
That's what the building feels like.
Huh.
Welcome to Purgatory. You are in the waiting hall before hell.
Yay, it's warm down there.
Probably a bit on the crisp side if you actually believe in the place.
I don't, but I've heard it should be warm. Oh well. Can't keep the city out forever. And she tries to go inside.
Yeah. So do you just, like, try and walk through the door?
Of course.
Cool.
It's what doors are for.
So you approach the place, and as you do so, you enter, like, the once you, like, cross the threshold to, like, the space allotted, like, around the building. The lights, like, focus in on you, and suddenly you hear, like, the sound of a klaxon.
What is that?
It's like one of those, like, really, like, screaming alarms. Ah!
Yeah, raid siren, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it starts that when I walk up to it?
Yeah, like, you basically, like, you're too far away, and then suddenly you understand, right? Like the whatever security systems are here in this fortress have detected you and are about to like open up on you.
Ah, fuck it. Keep walking.
All right, so you keep walking forward. We see like several like openings in the building, like slide open, spilling forth light from the inside, and we see like cast in the light from these like portals. We see the silhouette of people like jump out, and as they enter view, we see like you're basically you're being like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, like a bunch of people emerge from the building and like sprint towards you, and as they do so, they like initially just seem like people, but then like one of them like suddenly like his head flares up, his hair turning into fire. One of them, like a girl is running towards you, has like a green glow that emerges around her hands, and they just like start exhibiting like meta-human traits. And then they attack you.
Okay.
What do you do?
Shield.
Cool. So you raise a barrier. Yeah, you raise a barrier. Cool. Do you mean to like just create a barrier to like hold out their blast and keep yourself safe, or do you mean to like continue forward?
She's gonna make the goblins continue walking. They don't want to talk, so no use talking to them.
Alright.
Someone in the room or house is bound to want to talk instead of hit people.
Interesting. So, why don't we roll to unleash your powers, see if you can get inside.
Probably a bad idea, but at this moment she doesn't really give a damn.
You can do it.
We believe.
There we go.
Alright, so you do it, but you either do it at a cost. I did. I removed your art.
Rude.
No. So, cool. So
humor.
you have a choice to make here. Now you either take a condition and do this flawlessly, which will essentially knock you out, or you I get to tell you how this is unstable or temporary.
To get hold?
To create your barrier and make your way inside.
To do that, I need to make a hold. That is the burn I rolled.
Oh, no, so you're just rolling to unleash your powers, right? Oh, you're burning.
I thought I were to make burn so I could make the barrier thingy.
Oh, so
she needs burn to be able to actually unleash her powers.
All right, so if that's...
No, I needed to make my moves.
All right.
Oh no, not at all. So here's the thing. Let's be clear about this.
Most of the Nova's move says spend a burn too.
Yeah. So this is just welcome back to the game. So if you want to, because I see what you did here, but if you want to just make like a move, you can just make a move. If you want to activate those of your Nova powers that require burn to spend to do, then yeah, you need to fire up. But do you want to like invoke a specific Nova power to do this, or do you just want to like throw up your hands, create a barrier, and move forward?
I can just unleash my powers then.
Yeah, if you want to. If you want to like go all out and like conjure up your like your great powers, right? If you want to go Super Saiyan to do it, you can totally do so. I mean, it seems appropriate, I guess, because you're being attacked by like random meta-humans that seem scary and sudden.
Yep.
All right, so you're going with the burn?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. Upon invoking your burn, you mark a condition on a 7 to 9. Okay, so in this case, this knocks you out.
Great.
At least it takes you out of the scene. Do you have like a preference here? Like, do you imagine that you invoking your powers would take you out, or do you imagine that like Starlight would like flee or something?
I'm gonna look at the moves because it tells me what happened. If I can find the right one.
In this case, it's just a matter of you filling out too many conditions, which means that you're taken out of the action for a scene, which essentially means like, I think I'm just gonna make like an executive call as the GM here and say that as you like call upon your powers, you're feeling pretty shitty right now, right? You're not feeling particularly jazzed. So
which is weird because the more conditions you have, a bigger chance you have to get more burn.
Yeah, I think that's very deliberate.
Yeah, you function as a Nova. You function on raw emotion.
Yeah.
So because you are feeling that many different emotions, that's why. If I understand it correctly, Daniel, please correct me if I'm wrong.
That is totally like how I feel. Like there's fictional space to be able to justify it in many ways. I think that's absolutely a way of looking at it. That's the way I've been looking at it. It's like a mechanic that feels very much like an old anime fight. Like for some reason you save the super weapon for last in the fight. In this case, it's because like you have to fight, and then eventually the more and more you get worn down, eventually you will be able to call upon the mighty surge to unleash the ultimate abilities, right?
You need to build up power, basically.
Yeah, in this case, that like takes the shape of feeling awful.
Yeah, thank you for saying she's like an anime character. Now that's all I see.
Suddenly the art style changes from being like kind of Marvel-esque to being like very Asian influenced very quickly. It's just immediate transition.
Huge ass eyes.
Yeah, big eyes, small mouth.
Every time she goes into her super form, it's like a magical girl transformation.
Oh my god, I need that. I need that.
I don't want to know what Diamond is then.
All right, I'm gonna make the executive call. So you call upon these powers, and you suddenly like feel exhaustion for having like walked forever and being emotionally and physically exhausted. And calling upon these powers like suddenly makes that clear to you. Like you had been feeling numb and couldn't actually feel your body. Like when you have walked for a long time and you stop actually feeling your legs walk and you're just kind of being propelled forward. You hit your limit and you suddenly like just fall sideways, and the last thing you see is like these like strangers like running towards you as you fade from view, and we'll return to see what's up with that in a moment. Actually we have a couple of minutes before break, so you know what, never mind. So you let's continue here. So you fall over, you lose consciousness. When you wake up, you find yourself inside. You're not sure where exactly, but you're like in a room. It's clearly like arranged as a cell, and there is light in here. Everything like is painted differently. It doesn't have the same filter. It's like an unwelcome scene, but it has like actual colors. And yeah, you wake up feeling like a tiny bit less awful. I think you can. I think you qualify for removing a condition for what you just tried to do. Let me just check and make sure.
Well, usually you have to remove yourself from the scene, and then you come back without any conditions.
I don't think do you come back without conditions? I don't feel like that's the case.
Then you should look it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now.
You clear one condition once you get back.
Okay, cool. Where do you see that?
Under conditions. If you need to mark a condition and have no more conditions to mark, you are taken out. You lose consciousness or flee. The GM will tell you when you come back into the scene, into another scene.
I see
you
it.
may clear one condition.
I see it. I literally read that and it didn't register in my brain. Thank you. So yeah, remove a condition when upon waking up. What condition would you like to remove?
Gassy.
AJ, you're on push to talk in case you're informing me what condition you would like to move.
I was looking at them.
Alright.
And since I have no fucking clue to why I got them, I'm just gonna remove one.
Yeah, which one?
If it doesn't, yeah, exactly.
Hopeless.
Alright, cool. So there you go. Hopeless is gone. So yeah, you wake up feeling a little bit less hopeless. However, you are now in some form of cell. However, as you look around, there is nothing in here that identifies where you are or why you are. It's just you in a metal box with with bars on one end, and there's a hallway on the other side of the bars.
Okay.
What do you do?
There isn't much to do before someone shows up.
That's a good question. You have no clue if someone is going to show up ever.
Well, since the whole world has died anyway, I don't think I'm in any rush.
Cool. So you sit there for a short moment, and I think we see you hear a slight whir. You look to the side. You see there's a camera looking at you, and yeah, you just sit there for a moment. An undeterminable amount of time passes, and then the door slides open, and we see the same people we saw before. We now see them fully lit, and not just as backlit superheroic figures on fire running towards you. We now see people wearing uniforms. They are wearing what seems to be combat padded superhero tights, split down the middle, in a diagonal between gray, white, and black, with a stylized E across their chest. This is the uniform, although slightly different, of the Exemplars.
Who are they again?
They're a famous superhero group in Halcyon City in your time, and also
in
before,
my time.
Yeah, before your in your generation, right? Where you come from, the Exemplars are the Fantastic Four or the X-Men,
Okay.
right? They're a superhero group, or the Justice League. So we see we see them fully as a black a young black American and an Asian girl with shoulder length hair step in and without saying anything to you, just look at you and to register that you're awake. And then the boy says, "Come on, get up."
Why?
They want to see you.
Who?
Our bosses, the people in charge of this place.
Okay.
How did you even survive out there?
No idea.
They exchanged looks, seeming worried and confused.
Well, she looks just as confused. And out there's no one.
Haven't been anyone out there in a while.
Then why shouldn't I be able to survive out there?
Well, when I say there isn't anyone out there, it's not entirely true. There's no one good left out there. Nothing good can come of being out there. Where were you before you came here? You on the East Coast?
East Coast of what?
America.
I don't know. I don't even know where Halcyon City is.
I think we kind of got to the conclusion that it was located in present day Northern California and Washington State and Oregon.
Probably, yeah. I think that's a good place for it.
So is that East or South Coast?
That's West Coast.
Well, this looks like Halcyon City, doesn't it?
It is, or used to be, Halcyon.
And I'm from this place.
They like look at each other like with like you can see like the disbelief in their faces, like, yeah, okay, but where are you actually from? But
Just
like
listed.
not seeming to want to like push it, unless you want to like engage with them about it. They just kind of like open the
Nope.
door and like gesture for you to get out.
She follows along.
Yeah, they lead you through the building, like a sliding door shoots open and you're being led out of whatever like brick you were in. And you walk through what can only be described as like the austere inside of a military complex, right? It has all the like the trappings of something that's like very deliberately built to be a fortress. Like a few places, you walk past like insignia showing the old symbol that you're used to, like the symbol of the exemplars that you recognize. It's like not entirely different, but still just that little bit different. You're being led through this complex. They like go with you in a lift, and they're like always like flanking you pretty closely, but seem like confident that like you're not a threat, because to them you just walked out of nowhere and fainted.
Yep.
The lift door shoots open and you walk out into what you can only describe as kind of like a command floor. There are a couple of like windows or viewports or whatever, like giving you a kind of panoramic view of the outside, and you can see that you're clearly on like up top in this like spire construction, looking down upon the grim blackness of Halcyon. There's a couple of figures in here that like don't take up too much of your attention. They're just here wearing similar looking uniforms. There are also like a couple of people who just like look like they don't wear superhero trappings. They wear like full like riot gear, like full combat attire. But what draws your attention are 4 figures standing like centrally in the shot, and as you like they like take you, your escorts take you over to them. They turn around, and you have this like weird moment when you look at them, of being like unable to place where you know someone from. We're like, oh, I saw you, like you used to teach me math back in 2nd grade, but I don't remember what your name is. That's like that kind of feeling. Except for you, it might like you tell me how long it lasts. But yeah, like these 4 people are looking at you. Left to right, it's someone wearing like a full cover, future tech looking like war suit. Like someone is wearing like armor essentially. It's closed, like it's entirely sealed. It has like a glass visor for a face. And it's like very, very like deliberately the way we see it painted is like clearly like some kind of super suit. There's a guy, like big fella, very tall, very broad shouldered, very muscly, short cut hair, like kind of like pretty gorgeous masculine specimen, but marred by like some traits, like some scars.
Scars, cool.
Yeah, like a couple of like a little bit of facial scarring here and there. Chief of the marks of combat is the fact that the person does not have any arms. The person has or not organic arms, but has like mechanical replacements, like visibly like bionic mechanized arms, from like midway down their bicep, and then like down onto like their fingers on both arms have been replaced.
Oh,
And
it
then,
looks like that hurt. Not
Yeah.
that she's saying that out loud, she's thinking it.
oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a comic book, right? We can literally have thought bubbles. So yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, did I say 4 figures? I meant 3 figures. The
It's a
person,
three-figured number.
yes, the person in combat suit, the person who's like the big strong dude with who's lost his arms, or had his arms replaced, and then like a woman, beautiful and kind of like radiant, turns around and looks at you, and when she does that, she has this like feeling of like control about herself, and like a sense of like poised calm. But when she sees you, everyone, like all these 3 people, like stop and hesitate. Even the guy who's like has a visor on his face, you can feel like the body language of someone who's like, wait, what? As they look at you. And yeah, for a long moment, there's like an indeterminate silence between you. And then the woman like walks over and like looks down on you. Not looks down on you, but like it kind of like hunches over to get down on your level. She's grown, like she's a little bit taller than you, and you can see like recognition in her eyes. And then like a smile splits her face. She's like, I don't believe what I'm seeing. And she like touches your, like reaches out tentatively to touch you. Do you let her?
Starlight is like confusion because apparently they recognize her and she has no idea who they are.
I should clarify that this person, the lady, is wearing also like superheroic tights, but has like a cape on that has like a swirling nebula on the inside of it, that seems to like constantly move and shift.
No capes. Sorry.
Yes.
I actually think Starlight will point at them. Don't wear that, they'll get caught in wind turbines.
She like looks around and like reaches for her cape and like looks at it, and like exchanges a look with the like the big guy standing there. He's like grins to himself and shakes his head. And she looks like to him. He's like, "Quiet, you," and looks to you, like, "It's how can this be? Where did you came from? Where did you came from? Where did you come from?" Is what she says.
Halcyon City, where you from?
I don't mean. This is impossible, right?
Not with my powers.
But you can't do that yet.
Do what? And who are you?
You can't time travel yet.
So I didn't kill the world?
There's like a bad vibe goes through the room.
I did kill the world. Great.
They exchange looks. No, you didn't kill the world. It's fine. You didn't do any of this.
That's a relief, I think. What did happen?
It's not important. It's not. I don't understand it. You shouldn't worry about that. This is incredible. How old are you?
16?
She shakes her head in disbelief. 16. That's...
Let me check my character sheet. I'll find out for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, 16.
You're the first one I've ever met who could do that at 16. No one else. Not before you were at least 20.
So, what are we talking about, and where am I? I know this is the exemplars, but all your costumes are weird.
Well, I suppose we should introduce ourselves. She nods to the guy with metallic arms. This is Warden. And gestures to the guy in the combat suit. This is Arsenic. And I'm Horizon.
Okay. Starlight, and then she waves a little weirdly because they already know that.
Yeah, I think the guy, Arsenic, the guy in the combat suit, like turns to look at Horizon. And she's like, and you hear like a metallic voice, like some kind of like electronically projected voice, speak from the suit. Says, I don't think she knows who we are. I don't think she sees it.
He's right. And then she points at the man with the metallic arms and the metallic mouth or voice.
Boy, this is gonna be really weird. I'm not used to have this conversation on these terms. And she calls you, yeah, I think she calls you Rebecca.
Me?
Yeah.
What?
She like puts a hand to your shoulder, not like seeming to be like a bit tentative about the idea of invading your personal space, but she's clearly trying to like be calming about it. And she gestures to the guy in the combat suit. She gestures to Arsenic and says, Rebecca, this is Aaron. Gestures to the guy with the metallic arms. This is Finn. And I'm you.
Jesus. Okay.
No, because my name is not Rebecca.
Isn't your name Rebecca Royson?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm completely...
Rosemary.
Rosemary? I have Rebecca listed. I'm very sorry about that. So, she says Rosemary. Never mind, GM error. But yeah, she calls herself Rosemary. And I am you.
She gives her a long look. I wouldn't be stupid enough to wear a cape.
There will come to be a time where the little things stop mattering so much. Where it's more important to be a symbol of hope to everyone than worry about that kind of small detail.
Haute couture. Oh, by the way, keep an eye on the timer for break.
I didn't know that we are like due for a break, but I'm gonna round this one off, I think, and then we'll take a break. So this will be like a little bit longer.
Sure. I just wanted to bring it up because you mentioned it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Long ago.
How did this happen? How did you get here?
I don't know. But where's Sparrow and Diamond?
She exchanges like a glance with the others. The future Finn or Warden like visibly does the and like looks sideways. Clearly like just piecing out of that conversation entirely. I don't think you get like a reaction from Arsenic. but Horizon says, well, they did their best. I don't think you should worry about that. It's far more important to find out about you. What's the last thing you remember? And she's like clearly dodging your question. You get like a bad vibe from her, like when you ask this. But she's also like clearly trying to just like blow off like your question and trying to like shove it aside. Do you let her, or do you persist in like in driving her?
I think Starlight, who hasn't upgraded to Horizon yet, crosses her arms and stares at the woman. Of all the people I thought would lie to me or dodge a question, I thought I would be the last one to do that.
That's really good.
That's actually brilliant.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. And you would totally have influence over yourself.
Yay!
So yeah, I think maybe you roll to provoke here. I feel like you're trying to provoke her to telling you the truth.
Yeah. How did you do that again?
You roll with superior, and then we see how that plays out.
And it's +1 because I have influence, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. It's weird having to write that you have that over yourself. Just saying.
Yeah, I understand.
You can always note it down as Horizon.
It is still weird.
It's a hit.
Sweet. All right. So on a hit, they let's see. On a 7 to 9, they can choose one. They stumble and you take +1. They err and you gain a critical opportunity, or they overreact and you gain influence. So I think this is a case of they err and you gain a critical opportunity. So she like kind of like turns away when you keep like asking, clearly like a little bit shocked about what you're saying. And she says, I don't mean it that way. I understand. I really do understand. It's but things are different. Things, I know you don't want to hear this, but things will change. And she starts like waffling. And while she does this, you can like clearly feel like you get a vibe from not from any of the three you're talking to, but of the two youngsters who brought you here. Right? Like they visibly like shift and change, and like kind of like turn uncomfortably, as though they're not really about what's been done to you right now, right? Like they you get the sense that they too all too often have been on the like, oh, the adults aren't telling us train.
Of course.
And yeah, like that might present you with an excellent opportunity, because right now they're clearly keeping their mouths shut just because they're in front of their superiors. But like that could change, right? You could probably get it out of these guys.
Well, then she eyes them instead. So if she puts a thumb toward Horizon, won't tell me, and I might actually be stuck here because I have no idea how to get back. Will someone else tell me what happened to my best friend and my other best friend?
Sorry, guys. Two boys. Sorry, you don't apparently cut the mustard here.
Well, right now they're not in her good graces because they are all three avoiding her and
True.
her actual questions.
When she gets back, she just slaps both of them. What did we do?
Both Finn and Nightshade gets the slapping of their lifetime. Don't fucking blow me off in the future. What?
So
Bad boys.
you turn and like ask them, the guy whom you don't know what is called, like also does that like kind of uncomfortable shifting where he's like, I don't know if I should tell you. I kind of want to, but I'm also in front of these three people. But the girl like steps up. She says, "It's not fair. You should tell her. She deserves to know. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel." And the three like exchange glances. Before like heaving a sigh. I think you can see like the moment of hesitation on your own future face. And if you want to here, you could spend your influence to like to like force the decision. Right? She's teetering on the edge. And like being, I could tell you, but I also know I shouldn't. But if you like drive home your influence here, like you say something with all the power of whatever force you wield over her, you could make her spill it.
Yeah, kinda will. With the extra, oh, remember when you were my age and no one wanted to tell you the truth because you couldn't handle it?
Yeah, totally. That would absolutely work. So. She nods her head. She says, "Okay, fine." Who do you want to know about?
Both of them.
I've been to a couple of timelines. This is a privilege that you will learn in the future. I say, but I don't rightly know when you've learned this power so young.
Accident.
Well, that's too bad. You will sadly come to find that accidental time travel is dangerous. Almost as dangerous as preemptive and intentional time travel.
You realize that I know you, right? You're still avoiding it.
Diamond didn't. Many years ago, can't have been, was back in 2017. Ileana loses control. We tried our best. You know what she's told us. We tried everything we could, but we failed. We couldn't help her. I tried everything, but nothing worked. And once she changed, Halcyon changed with her. To begin with, it was just like any other crises. The heroes responded. And everyone who responded came back as a part of her. They drove us out of Halcyon. Halcyon was blanketed in perpetual night, and we have just barely scratched a foothold back here. Halcyon is off the map. The Earth lost about half its greatest heroes in one day. We were left vulnerable to outsiders, entrepreneuring villains, other ne'er-do-wells, demons, and aliens. Diamond sorted that out.
Is that why she ain't here?
She's here in a sense, she says, and kind of like tilts her head at the mainframe in the room.
Oh,
We call it Weapon Platform D. It's really an orbital, well, it's essentially an orbital strike base.
that was very insensitive of calling it that.
We didn't come up with the name. She did. It's weird.
Of course you did.
Anyway, with her in that state, we were suddenly able to strike back. It was not easy. Building the weapons platforms is one thing, but we had to be able to keep the aliens out of our tech, and she was the perfect candidate.
So what year are we in now?
$2025.
That didn't take long.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Look, but it's not all bad. Okay, it's not all bad. Look, this is an opportunity. I didn't learn to time travel until I was 22. I met another one of us who only learned it when they was 20. I have never met someone who learned it when they were 16. You could still do it. You could still change this. You could still, and there is a visible like shaking without, as suddenly the alarms flare to life, and the entire thing is suddenly like becomes instantly like everyone assumes battle stations. And as people like start scrambling in all directions, suddenly the outside of the building erupts inward in a giant explosion of yellowish light. And you see, as you regain your senses, a bunch of people outside, like hovering in the air, silhouetted. And you realize as you're like peering out and like staring through the light pollution, you recognize like the vague shapes of like known superheroes. You recognize like the vague shape of Captain Courage of the Exemplars, who's like a big shot in your time. You recognize the shape of Silver Spark. You recognize the shape of, and so on and so forth, like Captain Aegis, major figures. All of them like cast as almost these like black silhouette, staring at you with empty white eyes, and behind them, drawing a darker silhouette against the dark blackened sky, is this like this sensation, this contour to the opaqueness of the sky, of like wings being like drawn forward as a figure descends upon you here. And
yes, a black raven.
Yes. And there is no one is shouting anything at you, no one is saying anything. There is just like pandemonium as all of a sudden this like surprise attack has happened, and you get the sensation as superheroes clash against each other, superheroes clash against former superheroes, that the entire thing is directed at you. Everyone who's attacking is like beelining for you and getting punched away by like the people here, right? The current Exemplars. You see someone like get captured by the disembodied form of the shadowy form of Captain Courage, like grabbed in a vice, and as they are like being held, they like kind of like snap like a twig and like get crushed in his super strength grip. You see the form of your former teammates like throw themselves into this, and you see yourself ascend, fly upwards, surrounded by a halo of light, flying towards the form of Black Raven. As she descends, Black Raven, you see for the first time, like you can see what it is, and it scares you to no end, because it's literally just Ileana. It doesn't look like a day older than she did back in your time. It just looks like White Sparrow, like straight up her. But she is like a photo negative of herself. Like her her colors are distorted, weird, and awful. And as Horizon and Black Raven like meet in the air, there's like an exchange of energies when upon Horizon is overcome, and you see her being like changed. You see like this like kind of blackness roll over her, and like warping her to take on the same contours of the other superheroes who've been like turned. And the last thing she does, as she like scrambles to like get free helplessly, is to like reach a hand towards you. There's a surge of light, and you find yourself kicked through the ether, waking up in 2016. Sorry, 17. Let's take a break. We are overdue for one.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right, we'll be right back.